this session, you want to learn from these expert bloggers about creating authority blogs and a passive monthly income. I have some house rules here that I want to go over that I was asked to. There's attendee feedback forms that I asked that everybody fill it out and turn it in to any of the staff members. Each day, 6 forms will be randomly drawn to receive a networking plus pass for the next show. This is a 1 hour long session, and the way I have divided it is that I will ask the questions for the first 40 minutes, and then afterwards, the last 20 minutes would be audience questions, where you guys can use the mic in the room to ask questions. So without further ado, I want to introduce myself first. I'm Syed Balkhi. I run WP Beginner, one of the largest WordPress resource sites, List 25, and I've created a pretty good following some of these guys sitting here, so I can ask them all the questions that I was looking for in the beginning, and I didn't know, which question I should have asked. So to my right, you have the Mr. Famous John Chow. He started his internet career in 1998. Over the years, through numerous content sites and blogs, he started his most famous blog, johnchow.com. He's over 100,000 RSS subscribers, over 100,000 email list subscribers, over 100,000 Twitter followers. He's a pretty well-known guy. To his right, in the middle, we have John Rampton. He started his internet career in 2005. He's the co-founder of blogging.org and ppc.org with Zach Johnson to his right. He's also the managing editor of the famous search engine journal. John is an authority blogger and writes on various blogs such as entrepreneur.com, Huffington Post, etc. So you'll find him everywhere. And to the end is Zach Johnson. Started his internet marketing career in 1995. That's pretty old. I was only 5 years old at the time. He's most famous for his $800,000 Yahoo Ads check that he made in 4 months. He knows what he's doing. He's the founder of ZachJohnson.com, also the founder of bloggingtips.com, co-founder of blogging.org and ppc.org. He's everywhere. So I think we have a great panel group here, and hopefully we can learn a lot from them. So I'll start in the order, and we'll start with John and work our way down with the questions. So my first question is, when did you first realize that your blog was authority, and what were some of the indicators?
All right. I guess when I started getting emails from a lot of people asking me questions, that's when I started to realize that, yeah, I'm starting to actually reach people. But I would say the defining moment was when I got called up by a local newspaper. They wanted to interview me.
All right. Mr. Rampton?
So I would say one of the first times I realized that I'd kind of not made it, but started was kind of the same thing. I started getting interviews. I started having a lot of people really want to get to know me a lot more and interview me, especially like when I got approached by TechCrunch to write a story on something that I was working on. That was when I was like, oh, that was like that aha moment.
Zach?
I've been in the industry for a while, so a lot of people always said that I should have a blog, but I didn't start a blog until 2007, and I had a lot to tell at that point, so that actually became a lot of resources for affiliates to come and read about what I did. So getting emails from them and experiencing people actually linking back to my website and finding a lot of value and hearing that they can replicate what I teach them and actually find success on their own, that was a high point. And through the blog, I've been able to be on ABC News and Fox News, so it really brings a lot to your blog, and people find you that way. So it's pretty exciting to see just another website that can explode your growth, and you really have no idea who's going to come across it.
So in other words, authority blogs, you have to be recognized by others. That's one of the indicators, and in order to have that, you need to have a lot of traffic, a lot of people coming to your site and then recognizing you as an authority figure on that subject. So that leads into the next question. What is your top source of traffic, and some tips on how you got to that point?
My top source when I first started was actually links from other sites. Back then, Dig was one of the biggest sites out there, and I did a really good job by getting on the front page, a total of about 20 times in 30 days. And I did it by just basically asking what the big users like to talk about or what they like, and I found they like lists, they love Apple, they hate Microsoft, so all my blog posts were geared toward pleasing them. And so that generated a lot of traffic for me, but they finally got tired of me showing up on the front page all the time, and then they finally banned me.
So just a little follow-up. So that was a while ago, and Dig is no longer that source. So what is your top source now, and how do you get to it?
Currently, my biggest source of traffic is my current bookmarks, my readership base. Following that is Google.
All right, cool. John?
That's kind of a two-part question, at least for me. When I started, my biggest source of traffic was other people. So I would go comment on other people's blogs. I'd read their posts and then make a very valuable comment on their blogs, and that would drive a lot of people back. For example, I'd comment a lot on John Chow's, and that got me on his leaderboard, and that would drive a lot of traffic because I put very valuable comments on there. That got me more well recognized, and over time built that up. Now it mostly comes from Google, and we're also syndicated in Yahoo News.
Cool. Zach?
I don't do too much with social media or really tweeting with people, but I do like to be all over the place as much as I can, so I focus on a lot of guest blogging, which gets my name out there on other high-profile blogs, and then gets their audience to see the content I'm writing, and then gets them back to my website. So really getting your name across as many platforms as you can is how I rely on most of my traffic.
All right, so a lot of times people think that, when you have an authority blog, you don't really have to work hard, and, it's a passive monthly income, which essentially means it's coming on autopilot, which could be the case. So how many hours do you work now compared to when you first started?
My blog started off as a hobby, 2 hours a day, and throughout the years I kept it pretty much as a hobby. The blog is pretty automated. Everything I do on the blog is set up in such a way that it's pretty hands-off. I used to write all the blog posts myself, but now I have staff writers. John writes for me, and a few other people write for me. And as for the advertising, it's an automated system. Advertiser signs up, they pay through PayPal subscription, they upload the planners, I approve it, it shows up on the blog. So what I do is like everything else, I work from home, so I stay on the computer pretty much all day long. But in terms of actual working, typing in front of a computer, working on a blog post, it's still about 2 hours a day.
Yeah, John?
I'm a little more than 2 hours a day. I would say when I started, it more started off as a hobby, just really what I enjoyed, and I started making money with it, and it turned into a full-time hobby that, I'm the same, I work, 8, 10, 12 hours a day on my computer. So it's cool. Mainly because I like it, though. I would say actual time, if I really had to boil it down, it'd be like 3 hours, 4 hours a day.
Cool. Zach?
Yeah, I would say the same. I'm constantly on the computer working 8 to 12 hours a day, but I do more than just blogging. I run ad campaigns, and I'll connect with new advertisers and people through the blog, so you don't know what that's going to turn into. So you can automate blog posts. You'll be working on some stuff some days and not others, but definitely this isn't something that you can accomplish with just a few hours a day unless you're on track.
So, John, do you want to talk about a little bit of automation and the tools that you use to automate things?
Well, one way is how I automate my ad sales. Most bloggers would use a third-party ad network like Google or any of the other ad networks that's on the show floor this weekend. What I do is I sell my own advertising, but I don't actively go out and knock on doors to solicit advertisers. Instead, I let them come to me, and all I do is I set up an advertising page where I just spell it all out. This is my traffic, these are the ad spots available, this is how much it costs, and if you want to buy, here's the order link. They click the order link, takes them to go pay, takes them to a spot to upload their banner ads. I get an email that says new advertiser, approve or disapprove. If I approve it, ad shows up. If I disapprove it, they get refunded. Right. So that's one example of automating banner ads. I just don't go out, I just wait for them to come to me. Right? And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for an ad to be filled, I could use a house ad, or I could use default to Google. That's one way. Another way is just simply outsourcing your own blogging. Like I still do about 3 to 4 blog posts a week. I used to do 2 per day, but because I have writers and stuff, and they write for me, so that reduces my commitment to writing content. So that's 2 examples right there.
All right. So the advertising tool you use is?
The tool is called OYO Publisher Direct, and you can get it at oyobpublisher.com. I believe it's $27. It's just a WordPress plugin. Actually, no, it works on any website.
Okay. Very cool.
OIO, like EIO, but OIO.
All right. So with what you know now, what would be your number of advice for those who are starting out? Think of this as like, if you were starting out all over again, what would be your number of advice to yourself?
2 things I would do. The first thing I recommend is that you would start your email list from the get-go, from day 1. I did not do that until a year down the road because johnchow.com was a personal blog, and as such, I did not apply my usual marketing techniques to it that I did for my other websites. So the email list did not start until the very first day, until a year down the road. And had I start my list from the get-go, the list today would be twice the size it is today, and conversely, the income would be twice as high. The second piece of advice I recommend you do is basically don't test Google too much. Back when I was trying to build traffic, I pushed Google. I pushed Google a lot. I pushed them to the point where they decided to ban me for 3 years. Right? So for 3 years, I was off the Google search index. When you search for John Chow, I wasn't there. All you got was John Cow. Yeah, and so John Buffalo or John Chicken, not John Chow, Chow Money, but I wasn't there. So, and I'm back on Google good graces now, and I was able to survive because at that time I actually had a readership base going and an email list is starting to build. So I was able to continue to build the site. But today I just recommend you just follow Google's rules and just stick by it instead of trying to push them. Because while I was able to survive it, I'm definitely the exception, not the rule.
All right, John.
I'd say my most valuable piece of advice first would be make sure you're passionate about what you're doing, because if you're not, you're going to burn out really quick. So make sure you're writing about something that you enjoy doing or enjoy being a part of, and you live that in your active lifestyle to a certain extent. My second would be to, actually let's just go with that one. I had another one in there, but totally lost it.
Zach?
I got a couple of recommendations. The first one would be to start as soon as you can, because as mentioned, I started in '95 with internet marketing, but I didn't start my blog until 2007. So imagine what my brand could be if I started 1, 5, 10 years earlier. The next thing would be to try and be the best within your niche. And that means becoming the authority, and once you have that base, to create a product or membership that you can build over time, because that's where the recurring income will come from. Because if you just have a blog and you're making content, that's great, but how are you going to build a business model long term? So those are 2 areas I would focus in if you aren't actively being a blogger or not the authority within your niche.
All right. One thing I want to add to the building an email list part is a lot of the experts will tell you, build an email list, build an email list. But what I learned over the years was you have to also learn how to group your email list, how to segment them properly. So you're putting the right folks in the right direction. So if you just build one massive email list and everybody have different interests, then it's not going to be a very effective list when you are at like 80,000 or 90,000 subscribers. So I would add to that. So next question would be, which monetization method have you found the most success with, considering, John, you've tried several. I mean, all of us have tried several.
Basically, it's all about maximizing your revenue per user. When I started out, I did like everybody else. I just ran a Google ad. But then you start to realize that, Google is only giving you half the money, right? So what I do now is I cut out Google, and people advertising me direct. But then I started to realize that, my advertisers are buying ads every single month, so obviously they're making money on the ad space they're buying from me, otherwise they wouldn't be advertising all the time. So what I do now is what I would do is I then look at my advertiser who are constantly buying and ask, what are they doing and what are they selling? And can I duplicate that? And then I can cut them out. So my biggest, most profitable revenue channel is my own products. And I came to that by just basically sorting out, third-party advertising. But Google takes out the money, cut out Google, went to advertiser, but then cut out the advertiser.
Cool. John?
We're primarily just ad sales. We have media buys on our site, and we fill that inventory when it's not used with Google AdSense. So it's a really easy way to make money and be lazy about it, which you can make money other ways and probably a lot more money, but I think we're just choosing the lazy approach because we want to do what we're good at. So.
Sure. Zach?
I like to focus on direct advertising on my websites while also doing a affiliate referral type of business. And what I do is I show people how I make money with different products or ad networks. So if I create a blog post that says how to make money with this offer with this ad network, I could refer the people who are on my website to an ad network, and I would get a referral commission, which is around 1 or 2%. But through using the same method, I've been able to send over $5 million in new business to advertisers through my websites. So not only are they advertising on their websites, I'll create posts that show how I'm actually using them.
Okay, very cool. So one of the things that John talked about was eliminating each part. It won't work for every single industry. So it depends on which industry you're in. So if you have a really, really high traffic site that John Rampton was talking about with Search Engine Journal, or the one that I have, List 25, it gets millions and millions of page views, but how do you come up with a product? So in those cases, the best thing you could do is go find the private advertising deals, and if CPC is one that you want, but with millions of views, you probably want to go with a CPM-based ad model, and you go find the best media buyers and go about that way. So one of the questions, I know that when I was started out, that I really wanted to ask this to everybody was, with so many products out there, how do you know which one to promote? Because your brand, your reputation is on stake when you're promoting something.
I don't generally promote a product unless I actually use it myself. Right? I do ask around. I do a background check on a company, make sure they've been around for a while. They're not a fly-by-night. But it's mostly, I like to promote stuff that I use myself. Like I promote Aweber because I'm an Aweber user. I promote HostGator because my blog is hosted by HostGator. So I like it, I use it, so therefore I recommend it. And that's my number one way of finding a product, like what I use it myself.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. We only promote products and services that we ourselves would use and do use consistently. And if a product actually changes over time and isn't as good, we'll actually yank the posts and stuff because we don't want that on our blog.
Yeah, pretty much same thing here. And it kind of goes back to my previous answer that I will write more about products that I use and why they're so great, and that'll entice people to sign up for them more. So what I continually write the most about, that's what people are going to find value in.
So sometimes, what if you don't use the product and it would be useful for your users? How would you go about that? And also, there's so many affiliate deals, advertising deals out there. How do you know which price point to approve? How do you negotiate that kind of deal?
For advertising rates, my rule of thumb is to look at how much that ad spot would make with a Google ad and then increase it by 4 times. Because first of all, Google's already taking half your money. So if you're making $100 a month on the one spot, it means Google's selling for $200. Okay. So if I would sell it privately, I would try to get $400 for that spot.
We just fill it with Google inventory, so like I said, we take more of a little bit of a lazier approach. We also have millions and millions of impressions, so we do more larger CPM buys with companies. So.
Zach?
I basically build ad campaigns around what the advertiser's looking for. I can sell them direct banner ads or a review package or send the promotional mailing out to my list. So depending on what the advertiser wants, I'll kind of cater a deal to them. And I usually work with the advertiser until they find the results that they're looking for to keep everyone happy.
Cool. So when promoting affiliate products, what converts best for you in terms of like banner ads, emails, reviews, and tweets, Facebook shares, etc.?
What works best for me is generally my email list. Whenever I promote, whenever I compare like a response from a blog post or a tweet, or Facebook or email list, the biggest response is always from the list. I mean, I have a relationship with those lists, and usually I can measure it almost instantly. Like, if the email goes out 5 minutes later, I would get a response. I would know how something, know if it works or not.
I'd say our biggest response is over social. We try very hard to really put up amazing content first. I mean, you have to have amazing content. If you're putting up crap content, nobody really cares. It doesn't matter if you email out to them, put it on Facebook, Twitter, or if you yell at them to their face. If you're not selling something amazing or putting up amazing content, nobody's going to care. But our biggest source for interactions and stuff is on Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. Pinterest is really good for us because we put up funny memes and stuff like that. But I would say Twitter and Facebook. We get a lot of instant people talking about it and interacting with our posts. And if you can cater it to what your audience is listening to, for example, our audience is all the search engine marketing SEO type audience. So we put a lot of Matt Cutts memes where he's saying a joke or something like that, and it gets a lot of interactions.
I'd say it comes down to me. It's the content that I've written over the years. I wrote a post a while back that said how one blog post made me over $20,000, or how to make $20,000 in 1 hour. And it's basically focusing some really great content into one blog post that will continually get you traffic for years to come. What I did was create a free landing page that was extremely simple. Maybe took me 20 minutes to create. And if you go to Google and type in free landing pages, I've been on that first page for several years. And there's some links on that webpage that references to other affiliate networks that you could sign up to offers and use a landing page and create them for your own ad campaigns. And that continually sends new affiliates through my affiliate link to these networks. And I'm not paying any money for it because I'm ranking organically for that. So it comes down to that killer content, and people are seeing it every day.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So the number one rule of thumb that I've found with our audience is only promote the product that we use or would use, and something that converts well throughout, even whether it's an email, whether it's an article, whether it's in social media, is a case study on how you have used it. And I really like how Zach approaches it. He goes in and says, this is how this product has benefited me, and this is what I used it for. Because a lot of times when you just do reviews, people don't know why is that product good for them. So showing them that it is good for you is it will increase your conversion. Second, with emails, yes, you get a huge conversion right away. But you have to diversify things, because after the first blast, what happens to your sales? You're gonna have to blast the list again and again and again. So that's why you should go like diversified, write a post that can rank high, and like Zach's article did in search, and then also have the social media promotion. So take a diversified approach to those things. I want to talk about what was the biggest risk / reward that you took and got.
The biggest risk?
Yeah.
Will definitely be pushing Google.
What was the reward?
Well, here's the thing. Like, after I was gone for 3 years, because what I did was basically I did what's called a Google bomb. I got like 800 sites linking to me with the term "make money online," and so suddenly when you search for "make money online," I was #1, and that pissed off a few other people that was ranking for that term. And eventually it got the Matt Cutts, and then Google decided to nuke me. But when I finally got back and restored, and there's this interesting how I got back. Basically, I talked to Matt and cleared everything up, and they let me back in. But here's the thing. When Google restored me, all those old backlinks that were linked to me, make money online, re-engaged. So yeah, I was gone for 3 years, but now I'm back fully, and I rank for that term again. So it's huge risk reward there.
It's a 3-year big risk, guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I actually don't recommend it, but yeah.
John, you want to talk about?
I'd say the biggest risk that I took was a while back, about I don't even know, a couple years back, quitting my job. That was probably the biggest risk that I took, and I decided to become full-time just by myself, doing what I do. And that was a big risk for me at the time. I was very cautious about it. I saved up for like 2 years, enough that I said I have enough savings in the bank to last me an entire year without working. And I've just noticed that my income has gone up, everything has gone up, my life quality, quality of life, everything. But that was probably the biggest risk that I took, was quitting my job, quitting all that security that we all have when we go into a work and a job every single day. And the biggest reward that I've seen from it is, of course, financial, but also friends and quality of life that I'm receiving more and more every single day, because I wasn't happy doing what I was doing.
Zach?
The biggest risk is actually putting yourself out there and getting started, because all of us are up here and we're scrutinized for what we write, and we're responsible for what we write. And we have people that like us and we have people that don't like us. But at the same time, that's the biggest reward. We wouldn't be up here if we didn't do that in the first place. We wouldn't have people coming up to us saying that we helped them make the first step to quit their job like John did and doing what he actually wants. So your biggest risk is getting out there, and your biggest reward is getting out there. So you have to do what you do.
Sweet. I want to talk about not real big risk, but we took a risk with List 25 when I started in November 2011 by launching in various different spaces, not just with our blog. We launched a Tumblr property, we launched on YouTube, and across various different platforms, and created different content for each platform. So now we're dividing our resources across rather than focusing on one area, except it turned out really, really well for us. In terms of our YouTube, we have over 360-some thousand subscribers, and it's growing now at 60,000 subscribers a month. And we got huge response from Tumblr. So the lesson that I learned from that was you have to curate to the right audience. So the audience that's on YouTube is different from the audience that's on Tumblr. The audience that's on Tumblr is different from the audience that's on Pinterest. So that was one of the risks that I took. I want to talk about, these were great risks and rewards. What were some of the biggest failures that you had?
Other than the Google bomb?
Yeah, I'm sure you had multiple.
Yeah, there's been time where, I spent hours writing what I think the greatest blog post ever, and it gets absolutely no comments. And then there's been time when I just post a video that I saw on YouTube. I go, okay, I just need a filler. I need something to fill today, and there's 100 comments on it, so I just can't figure it out sometime. But I've been lucky in the sense that I haven't really had any major financial failure in terms of the blog, mostly because I keep the cost of running my operation extremely low. My blog was started for the cost of a domain name, and hosting was, it was hosted on one of my other servers that powered my other site that was making money. So there's really no big financial risk for me when I was running. And so in terms of, I just been lucky that I haven't really experienced any sort of major failures along the way. So, and let's hope that keeps up.
John?
Pretty much every site almost that I've ever created has been a failure in some way, shape, or form. Probably one of my biggest failures, I won't mention the domain, but which everyone thought it was the greatest success, but really I look at it as a complete failure. I started a company, I hired a programmer and another guy to basically create this amazing site, and it took us about 6 months to build. We launched it and we did a huge launch party. We got picked up by every major blog out there. We ended up getting 82,000 customers in a matter of 42 days. What I didn't really tell people is I spent like $160,000 getting those customers. And they only brought in like $30,000 total, so it was a complete failure. But you'll have tons of those along the way. You'll start blogs, you'll write these amazing posts. Like I would say once a week I put together a post that takes me 3, 4, 5, 8 hours. That's just this amazing post, and then you don't even get one tweet. And it's the most, it's embarrassing. Like, you don't want to tell people you spent that long on this stupid post. But you have that every single day. And I put together tons of sites that I put my heart and soul into for a year, and like I end up selling the site just because I've kind of lost interest in it, and it sells for like $1,000, and you're like, I put thousands of hours into this, and it didn't sell for anything. So I mean, I would say I have them literally almost every day. I have a failure of some sort. It's just getting back up.
The key is to fail quick.
Yeah, fail quick and learn from it. But those failures, every single failure along the way has taught me what not to do, which I fail literally at least once a day on something, and I learn from it.
Yeah, this industry is all about failing, and for every successful website I have, I probably have another 50 that failed or whatever, but it's not so much about what the failure is, it's how you're going to deal with it. One day you could have a successful website making thousands of dollars, the next day you could have someone showing up at your house and giving you a legal document saying they're suing you for something you had no idea was even out there. So anything can happen in this industry, and you're going to fail constantly, so you just have to keep working to find what works and focus on those products, because there's ZachJohnson.com, then I have bloggingtips.com and a bunch of other websites. Then I have another 400, 500 domain names of failed websites. So don't let the failures stop you.
So experience is a very expensive teacher, guys. So if you can learn from these guys' experience, then it'd be great. I want to hold all the questions to the end, so just as we can keep on going. So how do you rebound from those failures? What do you do? What is the best reward, or what keeps you going?
Keep the end goal in mind, and reward yourself along the way. Like too many people, they have the end goal in mind, but they see that as the final destination. It's really not the final destination that's important. It's the journey along the way. So I like to, if you say, this is your end goal, and this is where you are right now, but if you just concentrate on that, you're looking at this big thing that you just can't imagine you might be able to achieve one day. But like anything else, you break down into little steps, and you reward yourself along the way to little steps. So let's just say that you want to make X amount within 2 years, and you're going to do it by internet marketing. So you could give yourself a reward by just simply, you make your first $100. Give yourself a reward. You start up a website. Give yourself a reward. You sign up for an ad network. Small reward. And the reward should be proportional to the size of the achievement. Like, I'm not saying don't go buy a Mercedes, but just set up a website. But perhaps down the road when you make your first $100,000, you could okay, I'll give myself a Mercedes. Right? But the key is just basically just to enjoy the journey. And one way is to just network with other people, other like-minded people. You motivate each other. I mean, whenever I'm feeling down, I find I can always count on people. That's always someone either on IAM or someone in a networking group that I can always count on. And we can just keep each other focused and keep each other on track.
I'd say along with the reward yourself no matter what along the way. I think that rewarding yourself and budgeting for that just is very, very important. Also, don't have your self-worth or confidence based on the success of whatever you're doing. Know that you're amazing and that you're, I know this is kind of a little mushy, but know that you're an awesome person and that you're a great at whatever you're doing, and don't base your success or failure.
Yeah. Your net worth is not your self-worth.
Yep. This is why I wear a shirt that says I'm technically awesome. Rewarding myself every day. Zach?
Again, this is a different industry. Everybody is here because they want to be working for themselves and not going the path of the regular person who works a 9 to 5 making someone else rich. So you're here because you want to be successful, and that's what you have to remember. But at the same time, you're responsible for all of your success and all of your failure. And I've failed a million times, and it's extremely hard to create one website that's making you a ton of money. It ends up, you got to do something and find out what's next. And that's what the goal is. So you have to, it's not, again, like these guys say, it's not your net worth, but it's almost like it's a game. 1 month you're doing this, but the next month you want to get a high score. So you keep playing and you love it. So make sure whatever you're working on, you have the passion to do it. Because I've created websites where I knew that they would make a ton of money, but it was on like silver-plated forks or something that I have absolutely no interest in. So how am I going to make that a great website? I know affiliate marketing. I know how to teach people how to make money. So that's what I'm known for, because the killer content is on ZachJohnson.com. So find out what you're awesome at and then make an awesome website about it.
One of the things that I want to add is that think of your success and failure as relative, because or don't think of it as relative. Like, don't look up to somebody and say, okay, look, this is like, Google, and I want to be just like Google, and I just failed, so I'm not going to get there. So when one of the things that I found really helpful was to network with people that are at the same level as you are. A lot of times people are like, hey, I want to, network with this guy who has this much following. His successes and his failures are at a different level, and you're not there yet. So, find the group, and together you guys will get at that level, and that's what I've found the most success with and how I rebound from failure. I want to talk about passive income. How passive is your income? Because, aside from John, everybody else works, a lot of hours. And can your business really run without you? Because passive income is, I think of passive income as putting money in an investment account and then, like a mutual fund or whatnot. That's what I consider passive income.
The majority of my site's income is passive. Whenever I look at revenue channels, one of the things I look for is, can this income be passive? Some example of that would be the email list provider I promote, Aweber. They give me 30% of the customer's bill for life. So over the past 6 years of my blog, I refer hundreds of customers to Aweber, and I get 30% of their bills. I'm still getting paid for accounts I referred over 5 years ago. And my biggest account I referred to Aweber, his list has gotten so big that his bill is over $3,000 a month, and I get 30% of that. So every month I get from this one account almost $1,000. And cool thing about it is that he doesn't really care because he's making money on that list. And actually, to this very day, I don't know who that person is. I'd love to find out who he is. We'll go buy him dinner or something, but I don't know who he is. Another example, I use some of my YouTube videos. There's if you search for the term on YouTube, and YouTube is the second biggest search engine. If you search for paperless office, my video is #1, and it's a video that I made with my daughter Sally, showing how I created a paperless office because my office has no paper. And during the video, we show the equipment I use, which is a scanner, and we link that scanner to Amazon. And about 6,000 people every month search for paperless office. And because I'm the #1 video there, I get half that traffic. So 3,000 people watch this video every single month, and out of that, the ads on the YouTube ads makes about $50. But of the 3,000 people, it gets about 10 scanner sales every single month, and it makes about $200 a month. And this has been doing it for the last 2+ years. And I have like 700 videos on YouTube.
John?
Mine's not quite as passive, unfortunately. We have a lot of ours based on ad sales, and that's how I make it. But especially in the beginning, it's not going to be passive. You're going to work. And now that I wouldn't say I've made it, but making it a lot more, I'm still working just as hard. I'm still working just as much. I would say my passive income, 90% of what I make only takes about 10% of my time, and the rest of the 90% is stuff that I'm working on for my future and to build that income up and to build that a lot more. So I'm always working on projects. I'm always trying new things to get more and more passive income coming in.
That's how he's everywhere, guys. He's on all these major publications, writing everywhere. This guy works really hard.
Yeah, I would agree with John Rampton and say the majority of my income is not recurring every month, but a good portion of it is. This goes back to all the content I've written in the past, that it's always working for me. So I'm getting referrals to new companies, but most of it's not on a consistent monthly basis, such as Aweber. So I'm referring people to ad networks, and I'm getting a percentage of them, but I'm also getting random affiliate sales on products that I've reviewed and recommended. So when you write content that really works, that can supply you with recurring income month after month.
One statement answer. What's the secret to your success?
I get that question a lot, and my answer has always been the same. Right? People ask me what's the secret to my success, and it's basically it's my wife.
Cool.
Yeah. You can be the most successful person in the world, but if you don't have someone backing you up, it doesn't matter.
One statement.
Relationships.
Zach?
Passion and relationships. Because you need to enjoy what you're doing, and you have to have the passion for it. But you also need to build the foundation of people around you, not just your family, but coming to the events and becoming good friends with everybody. Everybody up here, we're really good friends with each other, and we thrive off each other's success. I know it's not a one-word answer, but it's the correct answer.
There's a slide, we have done a presentation before, and the slide says, make friends, make money, make friends. And with that, it's 11:40, and I want to, open the floor up for questions. So simply line up and speak in the mic, because it's being recorded.
And seriously, no questions are lame questions.
Yeah, ask whatever questions, because think of this as free consulting, because John doesn't even offer paid consulting.
I have two-tiered questions. First, what would you do differently if you started today than you did when you started? John, I kind of know if you could do another one other than Google. And the rest of you.
Differently, like it depends on my goal. Like if I want to actually make money, like right away, I wouldn't necessarily start another blog, because a blog is a steady long-term thing. If I wanted to make money, I would have two choices. One, I would create my own product, an info product, and I would sell it myself. Because that's my biggest money. That's my biggest income source right now, selling my own product. So that's what I would do. But that usually requires a huge capital commitment and quite a lot of time to develop. The second option, like if your funds are limited and you don't have the brand or the funds to create your own product, I would look at licensing someone else's product and then marketing as your own. So if I would start over, that's what I would do.
I'd say believe in yourself, and just whatever that gut feeling is, go for it.
I'd just say real quick, whatever you're doing, just be the best at it. Because in this industry, you got to find what's next, and you really can jump around a lot. So back in 2006, I was going nuts on MySpace, and then now there's Facebook. But imagine if I had a core business in 2000, what it would be today, 10 years later, if I just was die hard on that one topic. So whatever you're good at, really make sure you're good at that and stick with it, so you don't have to jump around and start over and do it all again when something dries out.
And then the second part of the second question was, what was the worst? What did you know was going to work for sure that didn't? The number one thing for each of you.
The worst for sure.
Well, the number one thing, I've been in business a long time. There's a couple things I knew were going to work that just didn't work at all.
Oh, you thought it was going to work, but didn't.
Right.
Well, I thought my Google bomb was going to work, but it didn't. Other than that, yeah, there's been times where, like I said, I thought I'd written the best article ever, and it just totally bombs. I can't just understand. I wish I could, if I can get into the minds of my readers, I could really figure them out, but it's hard to figure them out sometimes.
Besides my first marriage. No, I mean, literally 95% of the projects I've ever worked on, I thought they'd work out and be amazing, but they didn't. But let's just keep going.
Yeah, again, with so many failures, but what I've seen is the simple stuff works, and the stuff that I spend hours and months on, I'll launch it, and then it will come nowhere near what I'm expecting. So don't go nuts over complex projects. Just make something small and get it out there, and you can build it if you have that immediate traction in the beginning.
Exactly. Don't like try to be a perfectionist. Get it out. Get people's opinion on it. Try to think. You can try as much as you want to think like a user. You're not your user. I do this all day, like create reader profiles for various of my projects. But I'd say get it out as fast as you can and let the users shape your product.
Yeah. Stop getting ready to get ready.
All right. Go ahead.
Thanks, guys, for doing this. Zach, I really like the point where you said be the best in your niche and really own that. So in your guys' position where you're kind of at the top tier in your certain niches, what do you look for when people approach you? How do you know if they are an authority in the space? And what's a red flag to you when somebody approaches you and you're like, you're probably not ready yet? Thanks.
Something, if someone comes out of nowhere, what I like to do is put their name into Google. That'll give me some quick results. And then I would also put their name in and then add the word forum or reviews. And that'll get a lot of people talking. You can put scam in there. There's going to be a lot of stuff out there where people might be writing bad things about it, but in the end, actually trying to get you to sign up for the offer and say it's good in the end. But really, this is such an open industry that everybody's talking about everybody else. And if there's something bad out there, you're going to find it.
Yeah, we get, in this case, I talk about the guest posts. We get literally, I have 20 to 30 guest posts submitted to me a day for our blog. We put up 2. So typically I'll Google the person. Good English is, something that I pay attention to. If they can't really speak English, I'll typically reject the post pretty quick. And then I'll stalk them on like Facebook. And if they have friends of people that I know, or if they follow people that I know, usually I'll give them a chance.
Yeah, I got to the point where I stopped accepting guest posts anymore, simply because there's just a lot. I received guest posts before from people, and they actually just copied it from someone else. So I just, rather than incur the liability, I just stopped accepting guest posts, and I just have writers. The funny thing is, we could do a whole session on the kind of emails that we receive. I mean, so actually, I'm saving some of the more unique questions and comments into a separate folder. One day I'm gonna publish them. It's gonna be called the Dear John letters. And it's going to be, I think Syed could probably do one, but yeah, it'll be the funniest thing you ever read. And some of the questions we get are just hilarious.
So one of the things that I look for, I get a lot of emails considering WP Beginner is humongous, and the questions that the person asks, I need to see if they're willing to partner up with us or if they want to write for us, is how much they have looked into our site and our brand. Because if you're going to come to the site and say, I want to write a guest post about 5 best plugins that everyone should have, no, we definitely don't want you. If you are asking a question that is clearly covered on the article, about the article, then you're probably not there. You haven't read the article. You're not willing to help yourself. So I'm like less likely to help you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
What's the thoughts on correlation between post title and word count in a blog? And how much difference is there in the word count moving over into syndication of your social platforms?
I'm not sure there's really much of a correlation. When I'm writing a blog post, the only thing I'm really concentrating on in terms of SEO is the title of the blog post. As for the actual post itself, I try to go for minimum 200 words. And the reason for that is not because Google wants 200 words, it's because I have a banner that's embedded in the article. I need enough word to wrap around the banner. Otherwise, I would just get away with 10 words if I have to, right?
Yeah. I don't think it necessarily matters a ton. Things I would pay attention to is Google's title count. Is, I believe it's
70 characters, I believe.
No, 64.
Yeah, 64 characters is all it can have. I even trim it down a little bit more than that because you like when people tweeting that's only 120 characters, 140 characters, and that has to have your URL, and I like it to tag my actual name and my site in it. So that means it can't be more than like 40 to 50 characters. And then the article, I personally won't accept any posts that are under 450 words. So I like longer posts, and then we have posts submitted all the time that are 5,000 to 8,000 words, which is a ton, but people won't read past a certain amount unless it's the most amazing, brilliant content in the whole world. So I'd keep it in the like 500 to 1,200 word range.
No, I'm typically the same. I just write content to write content. I don't focus too much on SEO or whatever. People will read it and grab it and send it around if it's good. Most of the articles are in the 500 to 800 word range, just based off, that's usually how much I write about an individual topic or review.
I really like Zach's approach, but you can't really ignore SEO, and I used to do that for a little bit. So I write my titles last. I start writing my post. I come up with a generic concept, and I will put that in my title field. But I'll go back and rewrite my title last after I've done all of my paragraphs, got my content right, because a lot of times you can readjust that, and I wouldn't add my title length more than 60 characters, because Google sometimes tend to add your site name in the search results, even when you don't have it in your title, and you think it's your plugin that's going wrong or something's going wrong. No, Google just chooses to do that on certain results, and you have no control over that. So I try to keep that. In terms of article length, I'd say, words don't really matter in terms of quantity. The quality of the article really matters. So we have articles that are 300 words and the articles that are 4,000 words. I personally like to write a lot. So if I'm writing a case study, I will get in as deep as possible in terms of like storytelling. You can sit and talk with me and I won't shut up. So I would say 800, 1,000 words are pretty usual for me.
Just one clarification. If you have, I have clients that do more of their posting to Facebook today because they get more engagement. Because they'll only display X amount of content.
Yeah.
What's your feelings? Just put the whole entire post that you would normally write on your blog into Facebook? Or
never. Because then you'll be
and direct them to the blog.
Because then you'll be platform dependent. You don't want to do that. And if you're using WordPress, there are plugins out there that lets you customize the little description, but post it as a link. Bring the user to your blog. I would say think of your blog as the heart of the body, and all these social media outlets as the veins and arteries. So your content goes out, brings users back. Think of it in that perspective. So your center site is a central location. We have a lot of questions and only 9 minutes, so.
Hello. Do you think that a new content site can succeed if the majority of the content initially is from paid writers, with an effort, with a mind trying to deliver expertise initially as the blog author is learning, along the way?
I didn't quite hear that.
His question is, do you think a blog or content site can succeed if you have paid writers when you're trying to establish yourself as an authority?
Yeah, I actually think it can. Perfect example. Let's look at the HuffPo.
Look at Huffington Post.
Okay.
Because as long as the writers that you're hiring are good and they're experts in the subject that you're talking about or your brand is talking about, you personally might not become an authority, but that brand of the blog brand will become an authority, most definitely, as long as you have great writers who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's all about quality content. It won't establish you personally as an authority, but it will your blog.
Yeah, I would just say real quick, find who the best is and do what they're not doing. If there's a website out there that's reviewing the top dog food and they only have text and images, then you need to make a video of dogs actually eating that food, say why it's good, hire some vets or whatever, nutritionists, provide as much information as you can and do it better than who's ever at the top of rankings right now.
Right. Next question.
Thanks.
Thank you.
How y'all doing? Orlando Pena here. I want to ask John a question. In regards to SEO and Google, as you said, you got banned, and a lot of algorithms, a lot of things have changed. So what some of the things to stay away from? Because you said don't test Google, but can you elaborate on exactly what you mean by that? Don't test. Like, what are some of the things to stay away from now, since a lot of things have changed with Google?
Well, basically, just read the webmaster's guideline to be start with, because Google does have guidelines. You can, but majority of people just don't read it. But Google has the rule all spelled out for you. It's all written in the webmaster's guideline. But the thing to look out for is, a lot of guest posts I'm getting nowadays is actually not from people who actually want to actually write content. I'm getting a lot of guest posts from professional companies who's trying to get backlinks for somebody else. And again, that's what I'm getting. That's one reason I stopped taking them. Right? So, like if don't link to bad neighborhoods, or the bad neighborhoods they call it, and make your linking just natural. Like don't link. It's just natural. Like instead of linking, you're gonna link to a blog. Just link to the blog's name. Don't necessarily link to the keyword that they want you to link to them. That kind of stuff. But just read Google's Webmaster Guideline because they provide a lot of information.
All right, we have 5 minutes, so I don't want
right,
everybody else to answer it. But as long as you think that you're doing something like funny, don't do it. If you're thinking about that you shouldn't be doing it, you shouldn't be doing it. Next question.
Just write amazing content.
Yep.
Seriously. Don't write things for search engines.
Write for
write
people.
All
Write
right.
for people because Google follows people.
All right, 5 minutes. Let's go.
Guys, we're all here because we want to make money, and we're all motivated by success. So what is the most money that you've made in one day from your blog or mailing list?
Most money in one day. Do I really want to review this? Okay. I won't tell you the exact amount, but it is close to 6 figures.
If you consider a blog post brought in a 7-figure client.
Yeah.
It wasn't a blog, but I wasn't online at all the whole day, and my website made over 30,000.
Same.
Very nice. Thank you.
Hi, I think the talk's been really good. You guys touched on it a little bit about some of your failures, but I'm wondering what really got you sort of over the burnout, and what kept you going, and also how would you recommend building an email list when you're just getting started?
Like I said, my biggest supporter has been my wife, and she's just the #1 reason for my success. I mean, she doesn't know anything about blogging or internet marketing, but you know, she just supports me in whatever it is I want to do. So, now, as for building an email list, the standard rules apply. The easiest way to build one is just to create a landing page offering something for free in exchange for an email list, and just drive traffic to that page.
Yep. Pretty straightforward formula.
I was going to say your biggest motivation is when it has to work out. I typically say things don't work out unless they have to. If you have no other option, it'll work out.
All right. Next question.
Personal preference for somebody just starting out and their only association so far is a nodding acquaintance with Facebook. What would be the best source to go to understand the mechanics such as SEO, Aweber, all the things going into creating a success, the framework of a successful blog, excuse me.
Okay, I'll start. Well, we have searchenginejournal.com right here. Go to searchenginejournal.com to learn a lot about SEO. We have bloggingtips.com over there. We have johnchow.com over here. We have wpbeginner.com over here. I think that's enough resources for you to get started.
Hi, my name is Pamela Bay. I'm a WordPress developer. I actively use WP Beginner all the time, and I also refer people to it as well.
Thank you.
And I also follow on Twitter. So I was really happy that I saw you here. And also I started affiliate marketing and stopped and went to WordPress development. And I heard of John Chow back then, and I'm happy to be here to be in this room at the moment. So my only thing that I want is that I want to get a picture. I just want to get a picture with you guys. That's
Sure.
all I want. Okay.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm ready.
All right. And with that, thank you.
Perfect timing.
Thanks. If you guys have any questions, we'll be up here.
Yeah,
after
we'll
as
still
well.
be up here. Let's stick around.